right, guys. All right. Well, that was a good one. Nico, you all right?
You guys.
You what?
Yeah, no. I've noticed something. Is it like? I mean, it could also be my internet and me being unnecessarily a conspiracy theorist. But every time
I know.
they're
commented about it while you were fucking up.
Yeah, when you started bugging out, we were like, "Damn, he's about to drop a gem about the."
We knew you were about
your,
to. Yeah, man. We knew you were about to drop
corner or something, and that was.
That's when I've noticed it's like conversations like these, and I don't know if it's due to Zoom or like, you know, since everybody want to be on the internet or they ain't got no choice but to be on the internet. But whenever there's something along the lines of the uncomfortable rhetoric, internet starts to get a little iffy, don't it?
Well, so what? I'm dying to hear what you had to say, if you don't mind.
Yeah, I would too.
Recoup me. My brain is like a gerbil.
You were talking about your aunt and uncle around the corner, and then it started
my aunt and uncle are around the corner, and it's not just my aunt and uncle, but it's like my neighbor, and it's like everybody. They're like, well, I'm not going to choose the visible evil. They choose to, and this is with more than just a good 50, 60, 70% of the population, is that nobody really takes the time to take the information that's ingested, that they take from other people, and then they do their own research. They just take it for face value. And they are complacently ignorant. They're okay with being ignorant. And so when it becomes like 2 weeks ago or a week ago, there was like looting that happened 100 people deep up in the nicer areas of Chicago. Ran through a mall. 100 people got arrested. Cool. You guys got the culprits. But that doesn't change the fact that everybody's still stuck under that singularity mindset. Like they're supposed to see that Donald Trump is evil. Yeah, he's done some fucked up shit. I'll keep saying it. But do you know what Joe Biden's done? Like, I want you people, as much as they told you about Donald Trump, I want you to go back and look about that much history on Joe Biden and tell me who you like better.
That's why I had to put that thing in that video, his speech, where he talks about the in 76, every I'll pull it up here, every law, every crime, every major and minor crime bill since 1976 has had his name on it. This is a graph of the prison population since 1970, well, since like the 20s or something like that. 1976 is right about here.
Mm-hmm. Right.
We've gone from 200,000 people to 1.5 million people imprisoned over that span. And then the next graphic is this one, because a lot of that stuff is around drugs. This is white people to black people drug use on this one right here. Almost twice as likely white people as black people to use drugs. This is the rate at which they are stopped for drug suspicion.
And so that's
7 to 1.
Have you released that video yet, Chad?
Huh?
Have you released that video yet?
Yeah. I dropped it last night.
Well, fuck, I didn't see it. I've been waiting for that motherfucker.
So it comes off. I'll say this much because it was done for a certain specific reason. It does come off as seeming like it's a not pro-Trump, but like just anti-Biden and Harris sort of thing. But because that's what it is. I mean, just like the meme that Adam had behind him right there, the thin blue line Biden Harris thing. Like it's what it is because of the audience and like some of the people who I knew were going to take it and promote it, was it's about this idea of like getting, because what's been interesting to watch is I've had a few people comment on, and they're saying, well, it's a shame that this is who I have to vote for. And so it's given me a great opportunity to grab Joe Jorgensen's tweets about qualified immunity and stuff like that and be like, well, here's an option, you know? And so I've taken it that route. So like it doesn't come off as a libertarian specific. It's just meant to be funny.
Right.
Like it's a funny thing. It's set to the music of Curb Your Enthusiasm, and it's got but it's got a serious part where I fade the music out, where Biden is talking about all this shit that he's done, where he is just like, he's bragging about, like, first of all, he starts off with, we've got to take care of all these, like, people from, they're born out of wedlock, they don't have any conscience, and all this kind of stuff. It's like, whoa, all right there. Like, and then he goes through all of his other racist shit that he said, where he's like, you know, poor kids can be just as bright, just as talented as white kids. It's like, okay, wait, so, like, there's poor white kids too, and also, like, I think you're saying something that you're saying, like, hey, contrary to popular opinion, black people could be smart too. We just need to let them see if they can. I mean, it's some of this people tell on themselves if you let them talk enough. And Joe Biden has started to really talk and open his mouth a lot more.
There's probably a pretty good reason that, I don't know if you all saw this, Richard Spencer defected to the Democratic Party.
Yes.
He's voting Biden now. Yeah, he's pushing Biden.
Riding with Biden.
Now.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, you know, it didn't surprise me quite as much because, for one thing, we know that the Democratic Party is the home of the original Dixiecrats anyway. And, you know, the Southern strategy was what brought them over to the Republican Party decades ago, but their natural home is in the Democratic Party. The other thing is, you know, I think that that Spencer and the others that are left over from that alt-right thing, I think they see what I see, that Biden is going to put down this protest movement with the iron fist. Yeah. And they want to support that. They're going to support the police state.
Yeah, well, and there's also oh, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, Nico.
Yeah, are you in depth with the Star Wars lore, or you just have that picture up?
I love Star Wars.
Okay,
yeah, I mean, I'm not a like totally nerded out on it or anything. But I love Star Wars. Yeah.
So I noticed that you have a picture of Trump as Jabba and Biden as Jar Jar Binks. There was speculation that Jar Jar was a Sith Lord. So is that where you were? Is that where you were coming with?
So awesome. Man, no, it's not even mine. I just I liked it, so I decided to throw it up on the rotation. I don't even know.
That's pretty
funny though.
Yeah,
that's pretty funny.
Yeah, no.
Oh shit, man,
that's hilarious. My bad.
No, that's funny. That's good to know though. I didn't know that. That's funny.
Talking about algorithms and whatnot, Chad, do you know that I quite often see what you post on Twitter? Do you know that it hid that shit for me?
Oh, really? Damn. It's a pretty good video. So I was wondering about that because it got it's probably up over 20,000 views now, somewhere in that neighborhood. But it was weird. Like I've noticed that I kind of expected for it to do it. Now it's long. It's 2.5 minutes long. We're at 2:20. And it's not obvious. It's not like a tweet, like a text tweet. It's real easy for those things to just kind of catch you on and take off. But so I wouldn't have been surprised if Trump Jr. or Trump himself would have somehow gotten a hold of it and used it and tweeted it or whatever. And I was totally fine with that. I'd be like, you know what? Cool. Let those people come to me. Give them to me. Give them to me. Because the very next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start dropping some shit off. I'm gonna do the same thing that Hotep Jesus does, where he'll go and do he did he did an interview with Sky Adams last year. He was on Rogan, and right after Rogan, actually I think so it was he did Rogan, and then right after he did Rogan, he just started torching people with he would just instigate shit, and because he knew, he was talking about on our show, where he's let me drop this in there, boom, and so then what he would do is just block everybody who it was a filter for him. It was a way of him vetting his audience. All these new people who just came from Rogan, fuck y'all. If you're a real one, stay. But if you're not, we're about to find out. And I'm gonna. So he would say something like, "What's that?"
I was a recruit from the Rogan.
Oh, are you really? Okay, all right. Yeah, but so there were a lot of people who came over there, and then they were like, "Look, man, I saw you on Rogan, blah blah blah." And he's like, well, you know what you won't see anymore? Me, pow, and he'd block him. And so it's like, it was just like this stuff where he was just like, look, I'm gonna tell you what I think about this stuff. A lot of his, and there's a lot of that stuff even within Nico knows, and within like the Hotep circles, Hotep Nation, and like all the different folks on Twitter in that kind of realm or adjacent to it, like Sonny Johnson. Sonny Johnson like went and met with Trump, but she like let him have it about like what needed to happen. She didn't hold back, and she doesn't have a problem pointing out the stupidity of this Democrat plantation rhetoric that they use, where it's like you're telling people, you're trying to recruit people, and you're telling them you're slaves on a plantation, and that's your recruiting tool. That's what you think is going to work, And then, oh, by the way, you're going to try to like act. You're just going to skip over. We're going to go from Lincoln straight to like what, Reagan or something, and we're going to skip the Southern strategy and the Lily Whites and all this stuff. We're going to skip over all that stuff where you got the Dixiecrats to come over. Like we're just going to pretend like there's no racism in the Republican Party because Lincoln, and then like, okay, right. All right, okay, we're just going to skip over all this shit. No, like you've got people who like actually hold the line and who stand up for principles, first principles. And they don't just say like, oh, well, let's take the little talking points that we've been fed by the Republican establishment because they're just trying to get more money. They're just trying to get more power. And like Hotep Jesus said, they just want more slaves. They just want more people to come over and get in line, do things the way that they're told to do it, and don't say anything that doesn't, like one of the guys, Trey Quinn, he's been front lines in Denver at the protests. He got some text messages from somebody saying like that all he has to do, do the MAGA thing, wear the MAGA hat and all this stuff, and you can get paid and all this stuff. He's like, you don't have to, what did he say? You don't have to, or no, he told him maybe you don't have to do all that stuff. He's like, the only thing you do, be yourself, do your thing, talk about whatever you want to talk about, just don't criticize Trump. It's like, okay, that's not how I roll. Like, I'm not here. Like, I've been one, like, I'll criticize Joe Jorgensen, like, not from a standpoint of like, I'm not voting for you, or, I'm going to abandon this and go do something else. But like, hey, we need, this is a better way to message this so that we can grow this, this more and get you more support. It's okay to be critical of stuff when you're standing on your first principles. Now, if you're going to be critical over stupid petty shit, then it's, it's a little ridiculous. Right. And that's what, a lot of times that's what libertarians, we like to do. We like to pretend like we're fighting to be the most pure freedom fighters ever. And actually what we're doing is we're arguing over semantics.
I think that's such a good point. I think that's so emblematic of what's going on right now too, because we do, unfortunately, I've noticed it too. I'm sure, it's not just the liberty movement, but people within the liberty movement that are basically arguing with each other. And, you spend years or even decades of your life learning about the first principles and learning about what's going on in the world around you. And, how do we apply the first principles to the reality that we're actually in right now? How do we move to where we want to go or whatever? But then we get bogged down in our little infighting. And then it's like a moment in history comes along like we're in right now. And it's, there's people, again, I don't want to get into the infighting stuff either, but I've noticed it too, like right-leaning ANCAPs and stuff right now. And it's like, what the fuck are you guys talking about? What the fuck is on your mind right now? Like you've spent decades screaming about the police state, and then all of a sudden we're handed a moment on a silver platter where as libertarians we can step up and say, hey, look, this is our wheelhouse. We've been working on this for decades now. We believe Black Lives Matter too, and we've actually spent time thinking about some solutions for this shit. But we're too busy over here getting off on all our little semantics and, our little pet issues and shit like that. And it's like, look, sometimes you don't get to control how the reform happens. Libertarians may not get any of the credit, even if we were to lead, which unfortunately it doesn't look like we're going to be leading on this issue. I think that's the most unfortunate thing to happen to the libertarian movement in years. The fact that we're not leading on this issue with this reform, the protest movement in the streets right now. We should be trying to help spearhead this thing.
Yeah.
And instead we're sitting by twiddling our thumb, like we've got our thumb up our ass when like one of the greatest issues of our lifetime is sitting right here in front of us, where we should be screaming bloody murder and raising the standard of our first principles.
You had a combination of, from the lockdowns and all the unemployment that was caused, the Fed printing trillions upon trillions of dollars and paying off banks and paying off big corporations and not making Walmart go into lockdown mode and not making Home Depot and they all got to stay open. Burger King, McDonald's, all these people that are poisoning you with their food, they get to stay open, but mom and pop, little, restaurant or whatever else, they got to shut down. Or go to 25% capacity or whatever the case may be, all of that stuff. And then this happens. It's like, I can't think of a better like black swan event to make it to where the libertarian message becomes the prevailing winning message. And instead, what the fuck are we doing?
You know why? I'm sorry, but
you got to go.
No. No, what I'm going to say is this is not going to be popular. Sorry. It is what it is. The reason is because we have fucking Joe Jorgensen and not Adam fucking Kokesh as our goddamn fucking person, because you could bet your ass. You know why I know? Because I'd be standing fucking behind him. And this shit would be right there, right in front, if it were Adam on the fucking stage. He'd be standing there with Maj Toure at his goddamn side as he fucking told them, this is what we're going to do. This is being dictated by the fucking federal government, and we're going to end this shit now. But no, we just got to go around the edges and play around here, headed up by fucking Joe Hauptman. Fuck that dude. That's why we got this problem, is because we've got a bunch of goddamn minarchists with no fucking testicles leading the Libertarian Party.
Look, it's not her fault she doesn't have testicles. She was born that way. Look,
I'm not talking about her.
I know, it was too easy. Look, I know when somebody grooves me a fastball, I know how to hit it out of the park. I don't try to drag the butt down the third baseline. Okay, so, but here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. So, yes, like, all of that stuff is true, that it would have been completely different. But the other part of it is that, like, from an overall group, individualistic, whatever standpoint, like, this is our option. As Adam said, like, this is our wheelhouse. Like, they grooved this for us. And we are trying to find out how we can, and that's why, like, it's frustrating, because you have, like, on the one hand, you have some people virtue signaling one way, and then you have other people virtue signaling another way. And it's like, no, look, we don't need to virtue signal.
Right.
We just need to tell you what we've been fucking telling you all along. But now our voices can be amplified by the fact that there's an issue right in front of everybody's faces to speak to. Absolutely. And we can just say what we know is true without having to try to virtue signal to the left or virtue signal to the right.
Right.
You just say what's true. And that's why,
first principles.
Right. That's why
what
was so good about what Jorgensen did was not the first tweet about aligning with and uniting with Black Lives Matter. It was the subtweet that was about how all of the things that we stand for, that why we are the better choice of either of these two yahoos. Because the problem is that the overall, as much as I agree with Adam that the Black Lives Matter movement and that the legitimate protest with the legitimate grievance, that it's a popular and it's a vivified protest movement, okay? While I agree that that's true, I also recognize that there is a political party who is using them as a way to beat Trump, to take the power and do exactly what Adam said and turn it against them anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And we had an opportunity to say, no, you know what? We are going to offer the actual solutions. Here is the list. We could have Martin Luthered that shit and just stuck our 95 theses on the fucking wall and said, end qualified immunity, no knock raids, no more, end the drug war, on down the line, decriminalize all this shit. So all the people who've already been put in jail get set free. So you don't have any of this shit where you have people being turned into violent criminals inside prisons with actual rapists and murderers because they had a dime bag on them.
Well, that's
fucking retarded.
That's their best way of controlling us, and we all know it's all easy for us to see is that as soon as they get us into that, Nick, stop it. I just had a good point. Oh,
I'm sorry.
We're gonna find it. Well, as I talk, it'll fall out. But it's a great way to keep us in singularity on not finding out. It's not finding out. It's not aligning ourselves what we need to align ourselves with, such as COVID. Bam, got your black ass. As in Black Lives Matter, riots, got your ass. Or we got, you mad at Donald Trump? Got your ass. Oh, well, we got some crazy people running Democratic Party, or, the pedal rink, got your ass. Not, hey, maybe you should start eating healthier. Or, hey, maybe we should just, try and call this angry beast that we call racism, because it's fake as hell. Then on top of that, you got just everybody in their own little worlds thinking things are okay. What is it? I saw this stupid ass article on Vice saying that there was a comet or an asteroid headed towards Earth right before the election. Go vote. Huh? It's not, hey guys, maybe we should prepare for something that could be bad for us. Or
cataclysmic,
maybe
hug
we
your
should,
family.
Maybe we should
meditate, spend some time. Yeah.
You feel me?
No, but what you were saying about like eating healthy and like taking care of the people around you and being, I had when we bought this house, like we loved the house and the view and the backyard and all that kind of stuff was gorgeous. But one of the things that really like made it like hit home for me was there was this thing they had on the wall, this little it's like a little sign or whatever. It's not really a painting or anything. Anyway, it just says, if you want to save the world, go home and love your family. And like we've so like even on that level, and back to Sonny Johnson, like God bless her, like her big thing is just like Adam's, is localization. Like if you're trying to win, if you're trying to fight all these battles, like it's done, it's over with. By the time you get to the presidency, like none of that shit, none of what you do there in that election even matters. Like you want to vote and you want to do shit, like be politically engaged, go to your local city council, go to your local government, your state government, because that's where the real fuckery happens. That's where they really do shit to you that really like directly impact you. And if you take care of that, you actually create a way to insulate yourself from some of the federal shit. But if you allow them to basically be like a food trough, drinker from the federal government, where they're just sucking off of that tit all the time, they're gonna bow and bend the knee to that monstrosity every day of the week, and they're just gonna do its bidding and be the local agents of that shit.
Yeah, and I did that. What you're talking about, I did here in Lapel. Fucking, they were talking about getting 5G. I single-handedly stopped that shit. Me myself. I walked in and said, that's going to cost $9 million. They said, nope, not happening. They haven't brought it up since. Nope.
Yep, all over here for us.
By myself. Walked in because it stopped them. When I thought I was going to be arguing about privacy and all this other bullshit. Hell no. All I said was
$9 million.
They said, nope.
Hey man, and that's a good thing about knowing your audience and speaking the language that will speak to them.
Yeah. Well, guys, I got to get off of here because
Yeah.
I got to work in the morning, and this has got to upload and all that bullshit. So.
Well, I recorded this last part, so I might find a way to send this shit to you or upload it myself.
Upload it yourself, and then fucking
I'm gonna call
post
it
it as a
I'm gonna call
bonus.
it the post show.
Right. Cool. All right. Well, I'm gonna jump off
All right,
here.
man.
Love y'all, and see you next
Peace.
week.
Thank you, Adam.
Thank
Yeah.
you, guys.